name is Eric Campbell. This is for class FTT 104, week 4, final project. Okay, so I'm going to detail strip this Bond Arms Cyclops 4570 single shot. Yeah. So first of all, I'm going to make sure that it is clean and safe, and there's no ammo around, to make sure that everything's clear from the barrel. Once we do that, then we're going to start field stripping this thing and go from there. So basically, I've never really I field stripped this thing, but I've never actually detailed stripped it. I had to. So there's a bunch of videos online of people field stripping these things, but there's not very many people taking them apart in detail. So I actually had to get online, go to Midway USA, and order this technical manual and armorer's course through AGI, which is a competitor, of course, but they're all the same. It's applicable to all models. It's all the same. In detail, show me how to strip it. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to do it exactly the way they showed me how to do it online on this video. All right. So basically, all you need is some punches, some Allen screws, and a screwdriver. I'm gonna start by taking off the grip, hand grip. Basically one screw. Take it out. I set a towel down because I got a couple holes in my stuff there. I didn't want any of the bolts or screws to fall through. We're going to go ahead and field strip this thing first, I guess. I'm going to go ahead and take the bolt, or the screw for the actual barrel. Take the screw out. Once that comes out, that's your screw for the hold on your barrel. And basically that is field stripped. Again, it's just a single shot, so everything's just singly in there. Again, I've never taken this apart, but I'm going to set the barrel aside. I already took the screw out of the hand guard, so I'm going to pop the hand guard off. Set that aside. Don't make sure you don't lose the pins that are in this hand thing here, the hand grip. So basically, this is a spring. That's how it's cocked. This is your tensioner spring for your hammer spring. I'm just going to take a screwdriver. I'm going to take a slotted screwdriver, and this is a slotted screwdriver. And the actual DVD's basically called for this, so we can put some tension on this spring. Get one in there. Put tension in there. So you can go down and forward with this thing to get it out of the groove. It is under tension, so you gotta make sure, and it's actually two pieces, so you don't want it to separate and spring and go bling. Send it out the back here. Get clear. Ooh. All right. So this little guy is what came out of here. So it's a spring, a two-part little thing here with a spring in the middle. It's held under tension. If you get it on a different way, it's gonna go bling. And now we just have the hammer. It's loose. So I'm going to take a punch. Actually, drive out this little pin here. Small punch. Should just fail out. Boom. Make sure you don't lose your pin. And the hammer just lifts out. So this hammer is actually two pieces. The spring itself is actually attached. So it's soldered in, so we don't ever take that out. But this is the selector switch. And so this just pops off. And this is under tension. So this actually just rotates in here like this, and it snaps in. This hammer is it's not one piece, but it will come apart. This is a selector switch, and this is a little spring that helps, on a double barrel, it helps select the actual barrel you want to use, but not in this one. This one's only a single barrel. So I'm going to go from there. I'm going to actually take off the trigger guard. Need a little Allen wrench here. So make sure I get the right size one. And this is just one screw. And the trigger guard is optional. So just set that piece there. Take that piece off. Now we have the little barrel release lever. So if you look down in there, you got a little screw. It's usually the same size as the trigger guard. We're just going to take this, loosen it up. And now this is a spring under this thing. So once you get the screw out, take the little screw out. Keep all these pieces somewhat similar. Then you should be able to reach in here with a pair of and get that out. So this little piece has a spring. If you see in there, it's where the spring pops in. That actually helps the selector switch. There's a spring. And if you look down inside there, you can't really see it, but I can barely see it. But a little knob where that spring goes over top that helps this little knob here go up and down, spring loaded. So now that we've got that barrel release done, it will come completely out. Just twist it a little bit till it comes out. Well, there's your barrel release switch. Now you have the trigger itself, and the trigger is one piece. You have to take a little punch, the correct size, preferably. There we go. We're going to drive this little pin out of here. It's a little brass hammer here. So this pin can only be drove one way. It is flared on one side. So I got it started, drive it completely out. And as you can see, that pin only goes in one way because it's flared on one side. So when you drive it in, it tightens up the whole thing so it stays in place. The trigger actually removed out. It's one piece with the spring attached. The spring comes in there only one way and snaps in. So now I'm going to remove the firing pin, which is located right here. There's a roll pin. I'm going to push it from left to, from right to left, because it actually wants to go down in there that way. So, get the right size here. Make sure this firing pin doesn't go twing. I'm going to put my finger on the top. Right the rest of the way out. Okay. There's the roll pin. Release this. There wasn't really much pressure on there. So here's the firing pin. There's the spring. And basically, the only other piece to this that needs to be removed to this is the actual safety switch. It's kept in there by this roll pin that's located right. It's located right here, and then there's another spring-operated pin in here that actually keeps it in place. It's actually, they do not recommend that you take it out because that has to be set at a certain spec, and if it's not, it won't stay in all the time. So I'm just going to leave it the way it is. This is pretty much a frame. That's everything I need to do. I'm just going to go ahead and stop the video and put it back together and show you the finished product. Thanks. But this is completely disassembled. All right, well, I got the firing pin back in. That was a little tricky part. I'm going to assemble the trigger back in. You have to ensure that the spring is in there. It lines up. All right, I'm going to try to get the trigger back in. Give me a second. I got the trigger back in. Again, you had to join it one way and drive it back in. Now the trigger's back. Now I can put the selector switch back in. Fits right back in. And make sure it's real tight. Sure it lines up to the other one. You just got to pull the trigger down just a little bit. Now we're going to put the screw in. We're going to fit this little piece in here, making sure that the spring is on the other side. Flip it underneath there. I'll be right back with you. All right, I got the barrel release spring back in and the trigger back in. Worked correctly. Now I'm going to put the hammer back in. All right, I got the hammer back in. It's working. Just need to put the spring under tension. I'll be right back together. That took a little work, but I used a slotted screwdriver to put tension back in there so I can get in and put some compression on it. Now it works like it should. All right. I'm put the grips back on it and the barrel back on it, and I'll be right back with you. There it is, completely back together. It opens and fires, and not fires, but it opens, cocks, and we'll go off. Boom. All right, I learned something new. Thanks.